It's emphatic, it's just small. And then here's the guy that's on the tea towels and the t-shirts and the book and the keychains. And this is different. This is something we see on Hohokam pottery. And Florence Holly Ellis, an archaeologist who got her master's degree at the University of Arizona, and then her PhD and went to the University of New Mexico to teach. She's responsible for mixing these up. She saw this plate that Emil Howery from the University of Arizona excavated at the site of Snaketown, south of Phoenix already. And she said, here's this flute player who's kind of bent over, and that reminds me of the Pueblo humpback flute players in the rock art out north. And that reminds me that Hopi have a fertility figure called Kelley, and she was just kind of making these weird connections like I just did with the textiles. So maybe it's this, you know. But instead of investigating that systematically and running with it, she just kind of threw this out there, and other people picked it up. This was for a while the logo of the Arizona Archaeological and Historical Society. This plate's become very popular. And a lot of people just took her at her word, which she probably didn't even mean, and started calling it Coco Kelley. And that's whose fault it is. And then I forgot to add one more thing, and that's about our local rock art site that we're really trying hard to preserve in our community, Picture Canyon, out by the Sheep Hill, Wildcat Hill wastewater treatment plant. This is Picture Canyon. And in the winter time, the waterfalls. It's wastewater, but it's water in the desert. And the very fact of running water in petroglyphs makes this a traditional cultural property, to use managerial jargon, or a sacred place, to use a term that we can all understand. For all of the tribes that we've consulted so far, this is a place that is special and sacred and should be preserved as much as we can. Here's a very elaborate petroglyph on an upward-facing rock not too far from that waterfall that you can look down on from the edge of the cliff. And this is another textile design. You get the same designs on pottery that date to the 1100s, so that helps us date this rock art. And sure enough, there's all kinds of pit houses and archaeological evidence in that area that Harold Colton looked at a long time ago, even before he started the Museum of Northern Arizona. This was the first site that he worked on intensively in this area, so it has a lot of historical importance that way too. And then as you go downstream out of that slot-like canyon, you have a fairly broad floodplain where we want to, the city of Flagstaff wants to restore the meander. It's now just trenched. And we want to have the water spread out and meander again, so we'll have even more birds and deer and animals and just all kinds of amazing wildlife right within the edges of our urban areas. It's our urban interface. And Navajos have interpreted this as a hunting landscape, as a really good place where you could drive game in and track them. And so they interpret the petroglyphs here like this bowman with animals as indicating that this was a good place for hunting. These could also be interpreted as Hopi clan symbols and are interpreted that way as part of the Hopi clan migrations. And then we have the water bird in the lower right there, just overlooking where you would have had a natural wetland with a meander, and now you've got a ditch. But we still have water birds, and a lot of migratory birds coming through this site. And then, the archaeoastronomy people can talk about the little suns if they want to, and they can talk about the pottery designs, and we've got our game emeralds. And this site is just spectacular and really worth keeping. And that's all I've got to say unless there's questions.